I now consider these shepherds my enemies, and I will hold them responsible for what has happened to my flock. I will take away their right to feed the flock, and I will stop them from feeding themselves. I will rescue my flock from their mouths. The sheep will no longer be their prey.
Hashtag suck it, Pharisees.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening and tuning in. We are your hosts. My name is Jake.
And I'm Dalton. And this is Talks and Crocs.
The podcast.
The podcast.
Oh, we are excited to be here today.
We are.
He's got to get going, though, so we're going to try to not be a 2 or 3 hour podcast like we've been doing.
Going to state wrestling. Go watch my niece wrestle.
Oh, man. I miss wrestling.
I'm excited for her, man. She's 2-0 right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
No. She wrestles at 6:30. Yeah, 2-0 right now. Well, just at state. So I think she's 39-3.
So are they wrestling for places now, or or not yet?
I think they're still in round robin. I think tonight's the last round robin. I don't quite remember.
That'd be awesome if she got and won first.
Listen,
or even second place is a huge victory.
Oh, so she got
place too.
She got 4th her freshman year. 4th place, and so that lit a fire. Her knee was bummed. She went and got surgery. Got it scoped, got it cleaned out a little bit. And so, like, this year, she's back for revenge. And, like, I could tell.
That's
like,
awesome.
I can tell. So it's, like, it's a really cool moment as, like, an uncle. I can't imagine as, like, a parent. Like, what my brother and ex-sister-in-law, like, felt. Like, that's got to be dope. I got to get rid of this little Velcro stripper. I'm going to keep playing with it.
Well, it's like me on the first episode. I was playing with pencils and pens the entire time. And when I was watching those videos the other day, because I've been going through them again, and it's like I just sat there playing with it, and I could hear it.
The click, 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 click.
And then I'm sitting there listening, and I'm like, oh, that's annoying me. So hopefully it didn't annoy you guys.
If it did,
I'm sorry.
please just message Jake about it. No, I'm kidding. Message us both.
I did go through, by the way, everybody, and redo the audio on our first 3 episodes. So if you want to go through and listen and have a better listening experience,
yeah,
sure can. So from here on out, our audio will sound a lot better, especially now I'll have both vocal tracks that I'll be able to split from and get going on that. So
I'm just getting a story for our Instagram ready.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we're trying to get our Instagram and all that flowing real well. Check us out on Facebook, too. I would love to see everybody on there. Comment, post, message, whatever. I want to hear from you guys. And I know Dalton does, too. He's on both of those. We're both on everything. I don't know if you've logged into our TikTok at all.
Okay, so I'm going to share with you guys that TikTok was not my favorite thing. I had it for a long time. It sucked all my time. And so I deleted it. I'm getting back. I'm slowly getting back in the groove.
Yeah.
But it's just a weird concept of, like, it's evolved. And, like, I'm not used to it where it was. And so, like, I'm trying to get back to it.
Just make sure if you like a video, like actually like watching it, you do like it and maybe favorite it because that'll teach that algorithm to show what you want to see.
Yes.
Because like right now, our Talks and Crocs TikTok, literally, if you go through the FYP, which is the For You page, it's all Christian.
Yep.
Straight up. And I'm happy with that. I don't want to see thoughts on there bouncing around and trying to...
Please. No
Jesus would
thoughts.
not be happy.
I'm listening. Listen, if Jesus came back now, all right, we're getting into it. Hang on, let me type this out. We're getting into it.
Oh man,
I gotta press.
How much stuff would he consider adulterous today? If you read through the New Testament, what he considered back then adulterous.
Oh
man.
Oh
man. Sorry, going last night on the way home, I got to say this real quick.
Yes.
We were playing Would You Rather with Ronan.
Ooh.
And I asked, would you rather 5 minutes with Jesus or $1 million? He didn't even, like, take a pause. He goes, I want to be with Jesus. And I was like, yes! And he's like, what about you, Dad? I'm like, well, Jesus, of course.
Yeah.
The amount of knowledge, wisdom, and everything you could get from him with that 5 minutes outweighs any kind of monetary value.
Man. That we write that down for an excerpt.
All right.
For our podcast, because I would, like, what would your questions be?
Oh,
you only have 5 minutes. What? Don't waste any time. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what if his answer runs longer than what you need?
Pray that he stops time.
Amen.
I'm adding that to our future topics.
Do it. What was I talking about? Instagram thoughts. Yeah. So, no, I'm kidding. But no, for real, I wonder now, like, do you think Jesus would have an iPhone?
I think so.
I think you would. But I mean,
I think
like,
he'd be on TikTok and Instagram too.
100%. I think he would do it like what Frank does. Like, he would have, like, hey, catch me at 8 p.m. live. I'll answer all your questions.
Oh, he would never get off.
Oh, he could never.
Like, I finally got into episode 1 of season 3, and it's the part where they're just nonstop people coming in. The Chosen.
The Chosen.
And it's just nonstop. And he's just performing miracles, doing all this just nonstop. And like, how long could he keep this up? Well, forever.
Yeah.
If he wanted.
Sorry, we're both kind of under the weather, so if we're...
Got the ick a little bit.
Yeah, if we're yakking and sniffling.
Sounding a little weird.
If we got COVID, at least we're giving it to each other.
I can still taste and smell things, so...
I mean, I'm drinking an espresso right now, and I can't really...
You know what's weird? Last podcast, when we recorded, I sounded just fine. Didn't really have any issues, right? As soon as I started driving away in my car, I lost my voice. It was gone. Couldn't talk. Nothing.
That's really weird.
I don't know what it was, but it's like I think I had probably a sinus infection because I have to have a CPAP. And I'm not really that great at cleaning it out all the time like you're supposed to. So I think I got a little sinus infection there. But I just found it weird how all of a sudden, getting my car started driving away, boom, there's my voice gone.
That is kind of
And yet it was good the entire podcast. It's like, okay, does that mean we're doing the right thing?
That's Yeshua.
I'm telling you.
No.
He's here.
Well, he is. 2 or more gathered. All right. Let's get
Okay, I was trying to get the questions or something here.
Yeah,
okay, so I'm going to my show notes deal because that's where my questions are. That's where your questions are.
My questions are.
You want to start or you want me to start?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
I guess.
Ready?
Well, how many?
Just
best.
first one. Whoever
one,
wins.
right?
Yep. Rock. Hey. Yep. Come on. You got to go first.
All right. All right. So I thought of some big ones here. At least I think they were big ones. So my first one is, get ready for this.
Uh-oh.
Do you think part of the reason the Pharisees hated Jesus is because the implications of the Messiah being here would mean the end of their power over the people and their wealth? And I found a Bible verse that it's in Ezekiel.
Every top dog hates another top dog. But in all reality, he was the top dog. And so, like, I think, you answered your question for you. And it's definitely, like, it removed all reign, power, wealth. Because it deletes
all the sacrifices.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah.
Because you think about it, when Jesus was here, that he fulfilled the law. So that's the end of the old covenant.
Yep.
And in the old covenant, you had sin offerings and all these other offerings. And it talks about in the Old Testament that 10% or this amount goes to the priests or the Pharisees. Yeah. So then you got to think a little bit of everything that was offered was given to them. The rest was stored, or used, or burned, or burnt offerings. But so they were getting wealthy off of it.
Yeah,
and then they had power over these people, and you could see that by them. You do this, well, we're going to stone you.
Yep.
You do this, well, you got all these consequences.
We'll take you out in public and murder you in front of your family. Yeah.
They had to have known the Messiah was coming, and I think. A lot of Israelites back then, they thought that it was going to be a warrior basically showing up to fight off the Romans. Well, you go back to, Jeremiah, his prophecies, no. They weren't. It wasn't that at all. Like, they perfectly described Jesus and how he was going to be.
In where?
Was it Jeremiah? It was Jeremiah.
Yeah, you just have to refresh me.
Oh, I was texting you about it a while ago. Where it describes what he was going to do, how he was going to show up, born of a virgin.
Yes.
All that. Okay. It's in Jeremiah.
Okay, yes.
So that's clear in the Old Testament, long before Jesus was ever born.
You know what? Like, that made me think the other day of, like, the people that had, like, preconceived notions of, like, how he was coming versus, like, what it biblically actually said. Like, the Pharisees were forced, like, they knew the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
So they knew how he was coming. I wonder if, like, at any point in their heads where they're like, oh, we'll just overthrow this guy.
I bet.
Like, oh, we're bigger, we're better, we're stronger.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
we have all this stuff. No. And, like, with, like, a move of his pinky, they're gone. Like, it makes me kind of, like, think of, like, modern day, like, gangs, pretty much.
Well, it reminds me of Mafia.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes.
They remind me of the Mafia.
Yes. Like, were they, like...
You tied to us. You give us this much to protect you.
Me. I love how we both thought of that immediately, too. You came to me on my daughter's... What was it? My daughter's wedding day.
Oh, this is the day of my daughter's wedding.
Yes. I got my notes. But, yeah, no, like, it makes me think, like, were they just trying... Like, fearmongers. Were they just Were they setting up fear to capitalize on, like, who Jesus was?
Yeah. Well, that, like I said,
I'm gonna blow my nose. You keep talking.
I had a verse in Ezekiel.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Blow my nose.
Oh, okay. He'll still hear me, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So, in Ezekiel chapter 34, it's the prophecy of the shepherds of Israel. So his shepherds were supposed to be the priests, the Pharisees, the Levites, all that. But if you go to 34, to me, I'm going to use this word because I don't really count this as a cuss word. He was pissed off at the people that were supposed to be his shepherds.
Yeah.
So right here, I marked it on this little sticky tab here, so chapter 34, verse 7 through 10. I'm just going to read it here word for word. This is the NLT version, by the way. So if you want to follow along, pull out your NLT.
Yeah.
Therefore, you shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. As surely as I live, says the sovereign Lord, you abandoned my flock and left them to be attacked by every wild animal. And though you were my shepherds, you didn't search for my sheep when they were lost. You took care of yourselves and left the sheep to starve. Therefore, you shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. I now consider these shepherds my enemies, and I will hold them responsible for what has happened to my flock. I will take away their right to feed the flock, and I will stop them from feeding themselves. I will rescue my flock from their mouths. The sheep will no longer be their prey.
Hashtag suck it, Pharisees. I'm sorry, but that's like there. So there's like parables and like passages in the Bible that I'm like, this reminds me of like 300. You know the movie 300?
Oh yeah.
Like reminds me of the Spartans. Like they're the famous one-liners. Like, oh, you want it? Come take it. Like that's where that came from. And then like when who was it? Oh gosh, who'd they fight with the big army? Where they're Persians. When they're like, oh yeah, the Persians archers. Like with how many archers they have, they black out the sun. They're like, oh perfect, we gonna fight in the shade. Yep. I'm like, what? Like that's what reminds me of like passages like those that I'm like, Jesus is BA still.
Yeah.
Like at any point, like, hey, like, yeah, you can keep talking, you can keep doing all this, but like, who's daddy? Like, who's here?
And it's like, this was one of the prophecies from Ezekiel.
Yeah.
And it came true when Jesus was here.
Yep.
He fulfilled that prophecy. Because what happened when people started following Christ and realized, hey, these Pharisees, we don't want to be part of the religion anymore.
Yeah.
We want to be the relationship. That's my big deal. I'm not in a religion. I'm in a relationship, and it's hard to explain to people.
I'm in love with a man.
Yeah.
His name is Jesus.
I think that's one of our most liked and viewed little clips on Facebook and TikTok.
I got to give props to who that was.
Man.
I'm in love with a man. But
it's like when I read that, it's like, yeah, God was mad at the Pharisees, the priests, these people that were supposed to be taking care of his flock.
Yeah. You'd be pissed.
Started using them.
You'd be pissed at whoever's taking care of your property, and you come back and they're just using it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
So it's like, I think that just goes to show they knew something was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And Jesus showed up.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, okay, this is it. This is happening. We got to try to do something.
Yep.
Like, I was watching a deal. They were going into kind of the history of when Jesus was captured before crucified, and they did it on a night that everybody would have been basically drunk off wine and sleeping, and they did it almost in secret. And captured him and then took him in, and his death commenced.
Yeah.
It's like it was already premeditated.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just like they knew, and they thought killing him was going to save themselves, and I don't think it
Nope.
did. Well, obviously it didn't.
No. Well, no. It just fulfilled what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
They
helped it.
they
honestly.
lost. Yeah, there was no win for them. There was no win for them. But yeah. What do you got next?
Let me think here.
Trying not to sniffle in my mic, so I apologize, guys.
So I had a thought the other day.
Go ahead.
And then I wrote down, let's discuss something real quick. I think will disrupt some people.
Uh-oh.
And it might aggravate some people. Are you a Christian just because you go to church and worship?
Yikes! All right, well, here's where we're about to get canceled. No.
Not my opinion?
I'm going to tell you right up. No.
Exactly.
No.
You can go to church.
There's so many ways to go about this. Do I want to shake someone's faith because they're like that was their first step? No. Like, you know what? If that's what gets you to come to church and like start reading and get into it, man, I'm not going to shy you away. But in the same sense, like it's okay. So the happy bits and all the fun parts about being a Christian, that's not for the seasoned vets of Christianity. That's for the newcomers. Because once you become a Christian, it's all about death.
Yep.
After that, it's all about death. So it's literally like in the Bible, they're like, yeah, hey, like we can't wait for you to be a Christian. And then like you get in and you're like, yeah, awesome, I'm a Christian now. And they're like, all right, cool. So, well, you're still here, but you got to die now.
Yeah, people are going to hate you.
And people are going to really hate you. And it's like, wait, what? Like, what about like, oh, like the redemptive power, like there's so much grace. And like, yeah, that's still all there. But now you got to die to your flesh. Because once you die to yourself, you become alive in him.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That's
Man.
Like, I think kind of what I was thinking about there was the people that have been going to church for years and say they're Christians, but then you never see them do anything Christianly besides go to church and maybe tithe.
Man, and that's where, yeah. And then it becomes subjectively. Like, honestly, I don't know what people are doing at home. Like, who am I to judge in that? But in the same sense of like, if that's what you're just basing your Christianity off of is just coming to Sunday and like worshiping, then like you'll weed yourself out fast enough. Like your cup will run dry eventually because you're not truly getting filled. But there might be. I'm not going to put God in a box in that sense. I'm going to challenge your question now.
All right.
I'm not going to put him in a box in that sense because that might be what. Someone might come to church for 30 years and do nothing but come to church, worship, go home, and that's it. But something on that 31st year, something sparks. And that's what they needed. They needed 30 years of sitting there to finally relinquish whatever crap was in their life, to finally give up and let go and let God. Like, it's so cliche to be like, oh, let go and just let God. No, like, for real. Like, quit your death grip on your life and let yourself, like, let go of the reins and understand, like, hey, you know what? We're going to have to roll some punches.
Yeah.
Look what they did to Jesus. They bashed him. They beat him. They spit on him. They cussed at him. You're going to get yelled at some names from people that are ugly that aren't Christian. Guess what? It's nothing new.
Yeah.
Toughen up and keep walking. But back to your question. I'm not going to put God in a box in that way. Because I don't want to belittle who he is or what he does. Because he might, that might be what people need. So, yes, I understand it. And yes, I don't. There are some certain ways that, like, you know what, that isn't full faith. That isn't full Christianity to its max potential. But it might be a start for somebody.
Might be a start. I think where I was thinking there was I've seen so many what they call bad Christians.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like where they say they're this, but then their actions say
Oh,
otherwise.
yeah.
And it's like I've noticed in myself, the more I've started going to the Bible, following Jesus and all this, I've noticed a change in how I behave.
Yeah.
Majorly. And it's like I've noticed all of a sudden, boom, I'm recognizing sins. It's like I got to get away from that.
Yep.
It's like stuff that before when I was younger, it's like, okay, yeah, I believe in God, all this. And I didn't have that.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that with some other people listening to them, it's like all of a sudden they're realizing, hey, I feel this as a sin, and I need to get away from this. I need to repent for this. And it's like, it's almost like I feel like once you're there finally, you start noticing things you never noticed before.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people have said, yeah, I believe Jesus is my Lord and Savior, but it's like, do you really?
Because you're still living.
Yeah.
You're still living of the world.
Living in the flesh.
Yep.
And by living in the flesh, it means living in the sin and your desires.
Yep. And man, I love this analogy. I don't know where I heard it or if I just thought of it, but it's like washing your butt. Christianity is like washing your butt. If you don't wash your butt, but you're telling everybody you wash your butt, guess what? People are going to find out.
It's going to stank.
It's going to stank. You're going to stank. But people are going to find out, man.
Do the stanky legs. Sorry,
It's the world speaking. No, but like, for real. Like, if you're really not in your word, and you're really not, like, I thought you just ripped your pitch. If you're really not, like, fully accepted in, like, that Lord is your Savior, man, your booty's going to stank. Like, they're going to know. You can say all you want, yeah, I'm a Christian. But if you're not washing in the blood of Jesus, you're going to stank. You're going to stank of this world. I keep kicking my mic. I apologize. But you're going to...
just not going...
Yeah, honestly, it's not peaking, so I don't know.
Huh.
And that cable might have fixed it.
There we go.
Yeah, what else you
got? I don't know if I had any other questions, honestly. I do have a statement.
Go ahead.
That the Bible is figurative and literal at the same time, and you need to realize that.
Oh.
Like God speaks figuratively, but what he also says is literal at the same time.
Parables, man.
Well, I like to bring up one that where people will be like, oh, well, we can't eat pork, can't eat this, can't do this. I bring up Acts chapter 10.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, no, he was just talking about a Gentile. It's like, no, he literally said this, but he also meant this.
Yep.
It was literal and figurative at the same time.
Yep.
I think I'll get into that one later on someday.
Ooh,
but
let's do it.
Because I've had kind of arguments with people on that one.
I mean,
but
if you're not yelling at your friends, what are you really doing?
Well, you got to be friends. So you got to be willing to argue and have a conversation with your friends.
Yes.
If you can't do that with somebody, are they really your friend?
No, you should be like, honestly, like our text exchange. If someone ever like looked at that, they're like, oh man, they're pissed at each other. But in all reality, like we're both like, I was sitting in a meeting, like doodling and like trying to like keep up with the meeting, and Jake's working on a machine, like all happy as could be. But we're like, our text exchange looked like we were so pissed off.
Yeah,
and I was like, man, yeah, no, I did sound pretty bad about that.
Didn't I bring that up?
Yeah,
I
you literally
because
you sent the GIF of that dude singing. Yeah, you sent a GIF.
Man, I sent you a lot of stuff. Holy cow!
No, it's good. Don't feel bad.
I was gonna say I feel like everything I texted came across way more aggressive than my current demeanor actually is.
And then the GIF you have is hilarious.
Yeah, it was a zippity doo dah zippity day. Like I was all happy and just good mood, but
yeah, I was like, that's me in this meeting. But like literally, if you go back, we're like, yeah, we need to focus on this. We got like, I was like, oh yeah, wait, we just sound meaner than we actually are. It's all good. But yeah, my turn, right?
Yeah, go ahead. And I did read them, but I don't remember what the heck you wrote down. And what's weird is I read them like maybe this morning and I have no idea what you wrote down.
Yes.
But I remember they were tough questions.
They are. They are. All right. Jacob.
Uh-oh.
How has your walk with God transformed your family dynamic? Ooh.
How has it transformed?
This is a tough, like...
My family dynamic. Trying to think of, like, in what way?
Man, it could be... You could just... Anyway. I'm not...
Like... transform my family dynamic. Like, in my own family or big family. Like,
you know what?
just
Let's just
my wife
just
and
to, like,
son.
just so we can keep this podcast at an hour and a half. You, your wife, and your son.
Well, I know. I'd like to say I'm not as like angry as I used to be, and I know that changes the household a lot.
Oh, tons. No one has to tiptoe.
And I feel like I've changed the way I approach discipline with Ronan.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's being effective yet, but I see it working.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't want to yell because I hated that when I was a kid. So I don't yell.
I'm not a
but
yeller.
I also really don't spank either.
It's
But I try to talk to him with respect.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm showing you respect. Show me
Show it
respect
back.
and listen.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like before we started coming to church again, and all three of us like really falling into this, we were kind of lost. I mean, we looked to our family members, see what they were doing, but I feel like we were kind of lost. And it's weird to say, but now we're found. But it's just kind of how it is.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound.
I had to sing that for a scavenger hunt this last weekend.
Well, that's
out in Kamika.
interesting.
Yeah, that was fun. Wearing that Kamika merch.
But that's such a hard question, the dynamic deal.
Yeah.
Because I think, honestly, we're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a well put together family at all growing up. We moved 21 times.
Phew.
Single mom doing her best to get money in and get food on the table, and we're three kids.
I don't blame single moms.
No, I don't know how.
Or single dads. I won't single you guys out.
I don't know how single parents do it.
I don't get it.
I don't know how it's possible because we struggle with bills, and there's two of us working with one kid.
I don't understand single income households.
Yeah, I've never figured that out either.
Yeah.
But I know from my experience, I can't talk about Shauna's experience, that I didn't really have anything good, something good to look back on to build off of.
Yeah.
And now I do.
Yeah.
My answers, my lessons that I need to learn are all in here, and I'm learning them, I'm seeing them, and I'm trying to apply.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it.
An old Tim McGraw there.
Sorry. But yeah, no. That's good. Good answer, man. When do you feel the Holy Spirit the most?
It's random, honestly.
Yeah?
I could be working on a machine, and all of a sudden, boom! This thought pops in my head I didn't think about, or all of a sudden, this feeling overwhelms me.
I should re-preference this.
Right.
Where do you feel the Holy Spirit the most? Besides at church. Like
in
where's
my car.
Really?
Driving home or going somewhere, listening to a podcast or listening to Elevation Worship on Pandora.
Elevation Worship, hit us up, please.
Especially when Maverick City hops in.
Yes.
And plays.
Yes.
I don't know, it's like, because was it that song, I Pray in the Name of Jesus Over You, that one female sings it?
Yeah.
First time I heard that, I almost had to pull over because all of a sudden I was bawling driving down the road.
Yo, listen. Good. Yeah. Driving. All right. If
It's
you
like
could.
in my alone time, basically.
Yes, 100%.
It's like my car is my closet, if that makes sense.
No, that makes complete. You have a drive, though. You drive like probably 30
Only
minutes
27, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
But I mean, that's an hour a day. Like that's an hour that you get to spend alone.
It's like that's my prayer closet. It's like you're supposed to. Jesus said you have to have a prayer closet.
Yeah.
Right. Or said go to your prayer closet. It's like that's mine.
Man, I am so thankful for the job I had before pastoring, because like when I was making the decision to like, all right, I'm gonna do ministry full time. Like I was driving minimally 5 hours a day.
Boy.
From like spot to spot to spot to spot. And so like we're in Nebraska, so I traveled literally Nebraska, like fixing gas pumps and like their electronics. And so that to me, like I drove in like my work van was like my arena where I battled my emotion. Like I battled like, all right, hey, I'm chewing on this week. It's where, yeah. But now I had to find something new because I'm not in my battle van all the time.
Yeah.
But cool. All right, last question. You ready for it?
No. Go ahead.
If you could tell 16-year-old you, what would you say? If you could tell them anything, like say like a piece of advice or anything, like what would you tell 16-year-old you?
I wouldn't want to tell myself anything that would change my current past.
Okay.
Because my past made me who I am today, and
100%.
I was supposed to go through things I went through.
Yeah.
I would tell them, or him, sorry.
Not just them.
Like we brought up in our last podcast, rely on those you could rely on. And it will get better.
That's good.
Because, I mean, you go through what you go through, it makes you who you are. And I don't want to change what happened to me, but it will get better. Or rely on those who you could rely on.
Yeah, literally. Sorry, my nose is running.
All right.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's all I got for you. I'm sorry. I'm accepting tickets.
Okay, so are you ready for your? Well, no, we got to go happy crappy.
Let's do. No, I mean we can do. Yeah, up to you. Want to do happy crappy?
But I also brought on here to tell you guys why we get personal in our stories sometimes.
Yeah,
it's so everybody can relate to us and realize that we're not just Bible-toting Christians. I guess.
Yeah.
We have real lives where it's not always happy, but it's not always sad or bad.
Nope.
But
there are so many. There's so many crazy things about Christianity. It's not just cut dry A and B.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm putting these in my wallet really fast. It is so fluid. Like, so fluid.
That no matter if it was a good or bad experience, it made us who we are, and we were supposed to go through that to build us to who we are now. And we will relay those stories and experiences with you guys so you'll realize what's happened to you. It's built you to who you are, and you can become a better person, but it's also your free will to do so.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that last bit in there, the free will
perfect.
portion. So, dude, my week flies by so fast, it's hard for me to think of a crappy on anything right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think my only crappy would be a machine at work.
That's fine.
Honestly, it just the frustrating, and then me telling somebody one thing and them taking my words and saying, no, they did all this, this, and this. It's like, no, that's not what I told you.
No.
You saying that basically makes me, it's like you're telling me that I'm a liar or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got real defensive yesterday when I said, okay, I changed, not yesterday. Was it yesterday? Maybe the day before yesterday, where I said I had to change this parameter and this variable frequency drive just to match the amps.
You just said some words.
Just to match the max amps on this motor, otherwise everything else was fine. Well, then this guy got in his head that we changed all these different parameters, and it slowed his machine down. And then he went to tell my boss that I changed all these parameters. It's like, no.
No.
I did not.
I did my job.
I got defensive, and he's like, well, maybe we should bump it back up to that. It's like, no, we can't. You got to match the motor, otherwise we could fry the motor by putting too much juice from the drive into the motor. Because a variable frequency drive, it basically controls motor speed.
Yeah.
So it's like if we have the wrong settings, we're going to burn up this $10,000, $15,000 motor.
Out. And that's going to be on you because you turned up the machine.
22 kilowatt rated motor. It's a huge motor.
That is big.
We have bigger.
Really?
It's big.
Huh.
And it was 15,000. I think we're going to go to a different style now because it's just not enough power. But
jeez,
it just aggravated me. I apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry. I got defensive back there. It's like I got to think about it. I need to rein myself in on that too. Mm-hmm. Instead of getting defensive sounding talk, more, I don't know, normal instead of like assertive but not defensive.
Well, and there's such a weird line. Like, I'll just talk how I talk and then apologize later if I really offended you.
Yeah.
Because I mean, in the same sense of like, man, I'm not going to waste, I don't want to, like, I do it here in the office a lot of like, I'm going to shoot you straight. I'm not going to waste your time. And so like, I'm going to, if me shooting it straight with you and like not the answer you wanted, I'm sorry. I apologize. Maybe ask someone else next time.
Yeah.
But in the same sense of like, you'll never need to like guess where I stand on something. And it's like here in the like we'll have a meeting and I'll be like, no, that doesn't sound right. That sounds dumb. What about this? And there's sometimes where I'm wrong. I'll admit it. As a man, I'm wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
I will admit that because I don't know everything. But in the same sense of like, there's some things that I'm like, man, that sounds stupid. But there's other people that have been here for 6, 7, 8 years that know better. I'm still kind of new at this. So, yeah.
And I'd say, so I just did my crappy. I'm going to do my happy. My happy was last night we had supper at Shawty's grandma's.
Ooh.
And her and I were having conversations because I had the Bible there with me because I was tagging stuff to go with today's show.
Yeah.
And it just kept bouncing back and forth off, and I really enjoyed the conversation. It was a great time. And
Good.
It was real good.
That's
I
awesome.
really enjoyed the time last night we spent with her.
Good. Good, man. We got to spend some time last night. That'd be my happy. We got to spend some time with the Burns, Kirsten and Travis. And so we try to get dinner every once in a while. Like they live in Hastings, we live here, so it's kind of always tough, but I always love spending time with them. Like they run at a pace that is just different than like the rest. Like they're always so calm, cool, collected. I'm like, man, this is nice to be around every once in a while because I am chaotic and like everything should be on crack speed.
Oh.
And so I'm like, let's go. And so like getting like forced to like and like calm down, that's so much fun. My crappy, I have a nail in my tire. I still have to get it out, but I don't want to do it myself, so I'm going to take it to somebody. But like, I found it and like I grabbed it. I was like, oh, that's longer than it should be. Like I knew by like when I tugged it a little bit, I'm like, oh, that's in there. And so I'm like, uh-oh, that's worse.
Sorry.
Did I just make an innuendo?
Yeah, that's what she said, man.
Ah. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's a good one.
Okay. I
Sorry.
deserve that one.
The whole calm thing.
Now that I think that, yeah, that was an innuendo.
Yeah,
My bad.
That was a big that's what she said moment. But the calm deal, I don't know if my brain's ever been calm. It's weird.
Oh, dude, no.
I'm always going.
It like it's wild because like my most at peace moments is when chaos is going on. Like to me and Holly, so like me and Holly are very opposite in that. Her peace is when it's calm, like her peace is like a smooth river in the mountains. My peace is like dynamite going off in a cliff. Like I want chaos. I don't know why I thrive so much on it, but like...
Well, Shawnee sent me a deal the other day, and it was on Facebook Messenger saying, this is you. Apparently, it's something that trauma survivors are good at doing. In the midst of chaos, they're calm and collected and can think. And I was like, huh. Because I went through quite a bit of trauma growing up, especially as a kid. And then also... when you're in basic training, they put you under fierce trauma to where you have to be able to think effectively during combat situations. Bombs going off, gunshots, you're yelling in your face while you're trying to call in a medevac.
Never thought of that.
But apparently it's a response of trauma from growing up.
The more you know.
Yeah. I was like,
Jake and Dalton.
That makes a lot more sense now.
Honestly, it does. Because, like, I think I'm more irritated and I'm more like freaked out when it's more calm. Yeah. Because I'm like, all right, what's going to go wrong?
Yeah, I have that thought all the time.
Oh, dude, I think that's even, you know what? That's even happens in my life. Like I'm like, oh man, it's going good. Like everything's going, bills are paid? Whoa. Like, wait, we have like a lot extra? What did we forget to pay?
Yep.
What did we forget to do? And I'm like, whoa. Like when that first started happening in our lives, I'm like, whoa, what's a savings account? Like, what's that thing? I'm like, you can do those? Like, I thought that was just like for like rich people. Yeah. And I'm like, like I felt so stupid. I was 25 and like asking the bank teller, I'm like, what's a savings account? And they're like, are you not an adult? I was like, nope. I'm a 25-year-old child. What's that? And they're like, oh, you sign up for it, and then you can put money away. I'm like, oh,
My
okay.
deal is every time we get money in the savings account, something happens.
Bro.
Seems like it every time. Like, all right, we finally got like 1,000 saved up. Boom, you need all new tires on your truck. And that's like $800 dollars.
Yes. Yes. Like, or like, I'm like saving to buy something I want. So like, I'm probably the worst person to shop for. I feel bad for Chloe McNaughton. If you're watching, I apologize.
That's his wife.
That's my wife. But man, if I ever want anything, I just buy it. Like I'm never, oh, I hope someone gets this for me as a gift. Like I'm like, oh, I want a brand new. I really want a guitar that's like $500, and like it's nothing fancy, but I'm just gonna get it. And like Chloe's like, why wouldn't you like save it for like Christmas or something? I'm like, because I want it. And I want it now. I want it now. I don't want to wait. And she's like, well, like, what do I don't have anything to get you ever for like holidays or your birthday. And I was like, well, no, but I mean, I don't know.
You know what I tell people when they say that? Get me food, or I tell them get me socks.
Oh, bro.
Socks or food. I'm good with that.
I always tell people just wait. I was like, if you wait another month, I'll find something I like.
Yeah.
Or buy me a car. Can someone just buy me a car? No, I'm kidding.
Here's your brand new car.
Yeah. And I should probably look into that, but nah. The old hemorrhoid's doing good. I call my car the hemorrhoid, so sorry for all my viewers. But it's been a hemorrhoid.
But hey, it's got a Toyota motor in it now, so you're stuck with it for another 20 years.
Exactly. It's a hemorrhoid. It will never go away. It just keeps popping back up.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. Back to the spreadsheet.
Move into
not
topic
help.
numero uno.
Was the serpent beautiful? Was the serpent that talked to Eve into eating an apple beautiful? There's
a reason we say serpent, because when it was talking to Eve, it wasn't a snake yet.
Let me get in the old Genesis real quick.
I got it marked too.
Oh, you got it out already? What page is it? We probably have the same Bible.
Page 4 on my book.
It's going to be 3 on mine. Nope. Is it going to be 4?
Genesis 3.
Nope, it's 7 or 6 for me.
So you've got bigger letters.
Because I'm blind. And I got to read it from stage. That's the worst. So all you pastors out there that are like, oh, I have a small Bible and it works on stage. You get up and you get on those lights and you have it marked. Your brain goes, ah! And you can't read. Literally, that's what it does to mine every time. And so I got the giant font. I'll reveal someday. But yeah, giant font. So, man, the serpent, I think it was beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to talk about
found stuff to corroborate.
Yeah, go ahead.
To agree with that
Yeah,
statement.
go ahead.
But
What do you got?
my first one, before we get to if it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the serpent exactly? What was it? We say serpent, but what was it? I think you have to go to Revelations to find out what it was.
And the weird thing is, why would he cast it to go on it? Was it crawling on its belly already? If it's a serpent, like, did the serpent have legs? Was a serpent back then just a lizard? Like, I don't know. Why did he cast it to slither on its stomach? Like, if it was a serpent, it should have already been doing that. So yeah. I'm wondering if they're calling the serpent old Satan.
Well, yeah, if you go to Revelations,
and he was beautiful.
Yeah, which that's in Ezekiel describes like God's ticked off. But I want to get back to what was the serpent, right?
Yeah.
So here, Revelations chapter 12, in this book, it calls it the woman and the dragon, right? So it says, I'm just going to start off in verse 7 here. Yeah. Then there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and his angels. And the dragon lost the battle, and he and his angels were forced out of heaven. This great dragon, the ancient serpent, called the devil or Satan, the one deceiving the whole world, was thrown down to the earth with all his angels.
So that makes me question of, like, this dragon creature, like, was it beautiful? Like, because, I mean, if you see something that, like, when I think of a dragon, I think of, like, I'm watching I'm thinking Game of Thrones dragon, terrifying, not cute and something that I'm gonna talk to. But I mean, back then and were creatures no one was scared of it, but they didn't know.
Well, then there were dragons and cultures all over
Yeah.
the world, and it just makes you wonder what happened. That could be a whole other topic, I think, for a podcast.
Where's my dragons?
But we have Komodo dragons.
Yeah, I mean, same.
There's little dragon things. They call them a dragon. It's a certain type of lizard. I forget what it is, but it looks like what you would think a dragon would look like. So they call it a dragon, the serpent a dragon. So to me, dragons can be beautiful. There could be beauty and terror, right? So and dragons are known as being super wise, and all-knowing. And so this dragon, or a serpent, Satan, they call it a dragon, right, in Revelations.
Yeah.
That going on to if it was beautiful. Let me get here. Okay. So it's in Ezekiel 28.
Yeah.
It's called A Message for Tyre's King. Now, I kind of did some research into this. Tyre became kind of a corrupt place in their trade, and how they got rich was off this purple dye. And a lot of people were going through the Bible here and doing other research, think that maybe the king of Tyre was possessed by Satan himself. And I think what you can corroborate that is you start off in Ezekiel 28 verse, I'm going to start in 11 here. I'm just going to read the whole thing if you're down with that.
Go ahead.
Then this further message came to me from the Lord. Son of man, sing this funeral song for the king of Tyre. Give him this message from the sovereign Lord. You were the model of perfection, full of wisdom and exquisite beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Your clothing was adorned with every precious stone, red carnelian, pale green peridot, white moonstone, blue-green beryl, onyx, green jasper, blue lapis lazuli, turquoise, and emerald, all beautifully crafted for you and set in its finest gold. They were given to you on the day you were created. I ordained and anointed you the mighty angelic guardian. You had access to the holy mountain of God and walked amongst the stones of fire. You were blameless in all you did from the day you were created until the day evil was found in you. Your rich commerce led you to violence and you sinned, so I banished you in disgrace from the mountain of God. I expelled you, O mighty guardian, from your place among the stones of fire. Your heart was filled with pride because of all your beauty. Your wisdom was corrupted by your love of splendor. So I threw you to the ground and exposed you to the curious gaze of kings. You defiled your sanctuaries with your many sins and your dishonest trade. So I brought fire out from within you, and it consumed you. I reduced you to ashes on the ground in the sight of all who were watching. All who knew you are appalled at your fate. You have come to a terrible end, and you will exist no more. So right there it says it was beautiful.
I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it. My Bible's a little different. Because I was reading yours, and it's like, you're in page 600? And I was like, man, I have a thicker Bible because it has literally the same stuff in it, but twice the font.
Yeah, the font's much larger.
Sorry. So
but no, it's right there. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you go to Revelations, the serpent was a dragon, and that was Satan. And this is, to me, this is obviously describing and talking to Satan.
Yep.
And then eventually Tyre does fall. Like before that, it talks about, I will throw you into the ocean.
Yeah.
And that happened to ancient Tyre. It's under the ocean now. If you look at it, Tyre still exists, but it's a modern city.
Yeah.
The ancient city that would have been biblical times is gone under the ocean and destroyed.
Is it destroyed?
Well, the ancient one.
I mean, is it destroyed? We don't know. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. But, yeah. No, while you were trying to find that, I was like, man, well, I got to be close to like 600. I was like, oh, yeah, duh. Double the font size.
12,083. I was on 670 or 80 something.
Yeah. Sorry about that. But
680 exactly.
Man, and that all right. No, that it just makes me like. There's so many questions of like I really wish there's a time machine and I could just be a fly on the wall during that whole exchange.
Yeah.
Like I just want to know, like was it pure beauty? Like, but back then, nothing was. Like they weren't afraid of them. Like there was nothing they were afraid of.
Nope.
They were the main apex predator.
They were in charge of all the animals.
It's like, wait a minute. Like, I wonder what things looked to them. So, like, to them was a blobfish beautiful. Where to us, like, a blobfish kind of is like, whoa, what's that? Hunk of fat just sitting there. And it's like, what the heck? And so, I don't know. I'm not a giant I didn't get, like, 3 biblical degrees. I didn't. So, I don't know.
And all the studying I've done on my own, but I would agree that the serpent had to be beautiful.
I had to have been. Because there's no way that I'm talking to a dirt snake and being like, okay, cool.
But you just imagine like a dragon showing up.
Yeah.
That's going to command your attention.
That's going to freak me out.
And just starts talking to you. It's like, oh, he said, don't eat the apples. Well, you could eat the apples. This is going to happen.
Thank you, Jesus. I just had good revelation about it. Oh, man, that's fun. So it's like modern day. Even when times are going good and everything around you looks good, the devil will still disguise himself as something good in your life.
Oh, yeah. The great deceiver, man.
Yep. Man, that's some good revelation there. I didn't even...
Great deceiver.
Never thought of that. That's crazy. Sorry.
Like
what else you got for it?
Well, it's like right here. You go into the story of it. I don't know. You might not have read it or not, or something. Whoever's listening to this, you might not have read it. You might have. Well, it's like the serpent tells her, you won't die. God knows your eyes will be opened as soon as you eat it. You will be like God, knowing both good and evil.
The tree of knowledge.
So it would have been their first sin, right?
Yeah.
Well, before you sin, it's just all good. Babies, they're just good. They're great. Kids, they're good. They're great.
They don't know.
And then all of a sudden, they start knowing the bad when they are exposed to the sin.
They're naked, and oh, wait. Oh, man, that's crazy.
So it's like, I feel like when they first disobeyed God, took a bite of the apple, she gave it the apple to Adam, which is apparently a Hebrew word that means man, basically. Huh. I didn't know that. It says it in my Bible here. It's got like little translations down below.
Yeah.
But that was their first sin, and all of a sudden, boom, they knew sin. And like, oh, we're ashamed. That's when they clothe themselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's serpent had to have been beautiful, in my opinion.
That's where we're at. The serpent had to be beautiful. Good, man.
Okay.
I don't know how to segue into topic 2.
I gotta bring mine back up.
You want me to say it?
Oh, man. Why don't I like group topics together that actually make sense to go together?
Which one? What do you mean?
On topic 2?
Yeah, that's fine.
You think it goes with it?
Oh, it doesn't, but I mean, who cares for a little bit of hopping around?
All right, go ahead, read it if you want to.
All right. Yahweh does not send you to hell. The person chooses hell. Elaborate.
Okay, so my thoughts on that are there's a big argument of if God is an all-loving God, why would he send you to hell? I don't think he does. He does not want you to go to hell. He'd rather you be with him. And there's 2 things for hell. People, the fire and brimstone hell, the lake of fire, that's hell, right? But then also hell, it says in the Bible, hell is being away from God.
Yeah.
God does not want you away from him. He'd rather you be with him. He gives you everything you need to be close to him.
It's literally like people like sitting there and going like, God, no, don't pull me that way. Oh, Jesus, you're sending me to hell? And it's like, no, ding dong, you're doing it yourself.
Yeah. It's
you renouncing faith.
The choices you make in life are going to determine where you go.
Yeah.
If you choose to not follow Jesus, not love God, not believe in them, that's on you. That's not on them.
No, he can't make you do it.
It goes along. It's part of free will. At some point, I think we need to have just a whole podcast on free will in itself because it encompasses so much in life and it answers so many questions. I know we could go for probably 3 hours on that easy. But it's your choice.
It is. Yep.
The way into heaven is through Jesus, and that's the way to God.
And I mean, if you look at it, there's only one way to not be there.
Yeah.
If you really boil it down to standard layman's terms, there's only one way not to do it. There's only one unforgivable sin. I tell you the truth, all sin and blasphemy. All right, hold up. Because now I'm reading something different. I tell you the truth, all sin and blasphemy can be forgiven.
But I thought it was the ultimate sin was like disrespecting the Holy Spirit, basically.
Yeah. Mark 3:29.
Isn't that what Jesus says?
Yeah, technically. But anyone who blasphemes the Holy Spirit, will never be forgiven. This is a sin with eternal consequence. Yep. So, Mark 3:28 through 29. So I tell you the truth, all sin and blasphemy can be forgiven. But anyone who blasphemes?
Yeah, blasphemes.
Blasphemes the Holy Spirit will never be forgiven. So, I mean, in my book, that's the only way to not make it. You can live a shameful life.
Yeah.
But before you die, pronounce your faith. I mean...
And you got to believe it, though, wholeheartedly.
You do.
It's got to be part of your soul. You can't just say it.
No, you can't just speak it and become. But I mean, in all technicality, like, if that's what you choose to do, I mean, that's. I don't know about I would rather be wrong on earth and right in heaven. Because I don't want to be wrong in heaven and right on earth.
Huh. That's an interesting concept.
Right?
How can you be wrong in heaven? I'm lost on that.
Now,
one.
just think, I mean, like, really believing something. So, like, there's only one forgivable sin. What if there's 30? I mean, it's already labeled out. Like, if you don't, I'm more speaking of less as, like, a new Christian, like, thinking more in that aspect, not as, I've already read through my Bible, I understand. Like, I understand, like, I'm just going to say it out now. If you read through your Bible and you're like, oh, I understand it all, die right then and there. Because guess what? This thing's going to keep giving you more and more and more, new and new and new. So, like, this might even not be where I lie within a month. I don't know. But, like, for me, I would rather, what did I say? I'd rather be wrong on earth than, like, I want to be right in heaven. So, like, I would rather live a life seeking the kingdom and seeking the glory of God rather than fall into what the world has.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather take those biblical truths and be right about them here than living wrong there. Like, living for the wrong thing. But we'll never know until we're there, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to take what this thing has and be like, okay, well, I mean, if it's there, I gotta wholeheartedly go for it. Gotta wholeheartedly believe it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just a youth pastor, man. That's it. I'm just a youth pastor.
And I'm just a man.
No. You can be a pastor now. I dub thee. I don't know what they do.
Hey, nominate Patros to the something sancti. Amen.
We're not making fun of Catholics, I promise. You guys have beautiful churches. I really wish I could convert an old Catholic church, like a big Catholic church, into like a modern. Like, I think it'd be so cool. I love the old marble, gold inlay, all that kind of stuff.
All the like old Gothic style.
Man, if Catholics done anything right, they can spend money, and I love it. Good job, Catholics. Like,
there's a gal at work showing me pictures of a cathedral in Mexico City.
Yeah.
Holy cow. That place is amazing and beautiful. And then they have a statue of Jesus, I guess, on the cross.
Yeah.
But they don't portray him like it's portrayed in so many other places as this pure white guy.
Yeah.
They portray him more closely to what he actually would have been because he was from the Middle East around Africa.
Huh.
You look very interested.
Oh, sorry. Again, back to the guitar I really want.
Oh.
Somebody sent me an offer for a guitar, like for me to purchase it, and it's way over what I want to pay. So the guitar is worth literally like $400, but they want like $700, $600 for it. I'm like,
Oh, that's a little excessive.
nope. I'm not paying you taxes. That's the other thing. I don't want to pay taxes. I hate taxes. I'm sorry.
But, you know, Jesus said, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's.
I know, but I hate taxes because
Oh,
we always have to pay in.
Too. I know we have to pay in quite a bit this year. And
Ugh.
I think I figured out why. It's how I filled out my W-4 when I first started here.
Oh,
Because
really?
they changed. Previously, the last time I filled out a W-4 was probably 6.5 years prior. So it was my screw up, and I fixed it. But then I also put, hey, take this extra amount out of my check each month and hold that back. So now I should be paying in a little extra, so hopefully we never have to pay in again, because I hate that extra bill at the end of the year.
Taxes are dumb. But I understand them, but taxes are stupid. It's like life insurance. It's insurance. I hate the full concept of insurance because like I don't go to the doctor that often.
Yeah,
I probably should, but like the second I need, like, okay, it's a funny story. I cut my thumb, probably
a couple months back.
A couple months back, and I had to go get stitches. Well, I was in the I was transferred. Oh, it was like 5 months ago. Yeah, because this is when I first started. But like I was starting here at the church, and so I dropped my insurance from my old company, and so I started at the church, had no insurance, diced my finger bad. Wish I would have had insurance because I had to go pay like $300 to get my thumb stitched up. I'm like, I wouldn't have to pay anything. Insurance is stupid until you need it. Insurance is so dumb until you need it. But yeah.
That is the truth.
What else we got?
I put on there as topic 3, I think, is lead by example.
Yeah. That's such a...
That's more of a statement. Lead by example.
What do you got? I'm fine with that being a
Christians,
statement.
we need to be Christian outwardly for people to see.
Yeah.
As otherwise, you hide it. Well, they're not going to know. They're not going to learn.
They're not going to care.
No. It's like, I'll give an example of, say, when I was in AIT and I was in charge of all the guys. So they called me the male student first sergeant.
Yeah.
Most people that get in that position, they don't do fire guard, they don't do CQ duty, they don't do anything. They like exclude themselves from it because you got to make the rosters and all that. I'd put myself out there to do it, and whenever I'd want somebody to like, hey, we got to get this, this, and this done, I was out there working too.
Yeah.
And you always have way more respect from people when, as a leader, you're out there doing it as well.
Oh yeah.
A leader is in the trenches with the people they're leading or trying to lead and showing them how it's done.
Yeah.
You become a boss when you're just giving orders. So I say you need to lead by example and be out there to show people how it's done, what to do. But also, as a leader, you need to listen to those under you. And we got to get this from point A to point B, but we have all these obstacles in front of us.
Yeah.
Here's my idea. What's your idea, guys? So you listen to all that, you take the best from all your ideas, or you find the best idea, and you go with that. So by doing that as well, you're showing the example of, hey, not just one person is right. You listen to others. So it's like when we get together in a small group and we discuss, we're all talking our own opinions, and then we usually come to a conclusion on things, it seems like. Whether we might not say it outwardly, we think it.
Oh, yeah, we think it. I think that's the best part of our small group. Is we're very similar in aspects, but widely different in most. Like we are. We all come from a very similar background. Like if we weren't in the trenches, like we had a decent life. And so like it kind of splits our group like 50-50 of like there's not going to be one right answer.
Yeah.
Ever. Which is that's what you need in life. Like if you just had, I love this. If you're just a silo, all you're going to hear is what goes up and comes right back down. And if you ever stood in a silo, if you haven't, they echo. So it's just called an echo chamber. And so if you're just an echo chamber, you're never going to learn. You're never going to grow. once you step out of that echo chamber and like start getting other opinions in, they kind of suck sometimes. You're like, oh man. So yeah, don't live in an echo chamber.
Yeah, leading by example. It's like my own personal goal of cutting down on cussing or getting rid of it completely. I'm trying to do that, but
tough.
by doing it, people will see what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and then usually you can affect your peers on how they start behaving too, because they see, okay, well, so and so is doing this, and it's starting to change their life for the better, or they're seeming better.
Yeah.
Then people usually will start to change to mimic. So by leading by example, you can help other people. And Christians, you got to lead by example in our Christian faith and values.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know, this is going to sound weird, but otherwise, why are you Christian if you're not going to outwardly show it?
Yeah.
If you're not going to try to save other people, it's like, I want you there with me.
Yeah.
When I'm in heaven.
100%.
I want you there.
I don't want to be alone.
There's people, it's like, my heart cries out for them because it's like I see them pushing so hard against it. It's like, I don't want you to go through hell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to miss out on this.
Even on earth.
Yeah.
I don't want you to sit there and have to like, it sucks. Like you can't help everybody. I get that. But in the same sense, like it does suck sitting there and watch somebody hurt.
Yeah.
Like, you wish you can just like bippity boppity boop, you're saved, but you can't. Like, you still gotta like. They have to have a connection because I can't have a relationship with God for you.
Yep.
Like, that's what's tough. That's what's tough.
I just think just because you're not a believer or whatnot, I'm not going to hate you or nothing. No. I'm not going to not be your friend.
No.
I hope that through me you'll come to know Christ, maybe, or you start getting curious and start looking yourself.
Yeah.
Same with my family members. I hope that they see what the changes are that's happening with me because I'm trying to lead outwardly with it and show example that it starts to change their lives or get them thinking about it.
Yeah. I like that. That's good, man. Well,
now we're on to final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Thanks for putting me on to Tim Ross.
You're welcome, buddy.
If you guys have not listened to that podcast, do it.
Go do it.
But be prepared. He is not scared to talk about anything and everything.
I'm gonna say this boldly because I just watched it. I'm gonna unfortunately, if my wife is listening, because she's not listening to it right now, so she'll listen to it later after she listened to the podcast. But on my way to Lincoln, I'm putting my phone on and we're gonna listen to the sex podcast. So it's so uncomfortable.
Is that the one where he's talking to his kids and explaining something?
No. He's talking. He goes to a group, a therapy group, and he's a client there. But I don't think it's his therapist, but like a friend that is a therapist as well. She works there, and like her main focus is sex therapy, as like faith based and reality. Of like, hey, we live in the world. We're not in heaven just yet, so everything can't be butterflies and rainbows. But like, she has so many good things for like, and it's not even for people that have like strayed away from their husband, wife, or anything. It's more of a how do I connect to this bond even better. And so like, we're gonna listen to that all the way there, and hopefully like implement. Like, yes, it's all about like the main topic is sex. But like, there's so many more helps inside of that topic of like, it doesn't need to be just sex. Like they talk about having like sex is it's the alarm, and so like they're talking about like you could do activities without having that. Yep. Like there's so many things to do to have an intimate connection with your spouse besides sex, and so I'm like, ooh. Whoa.
I wish TV would show that.
Yeah, 100%.
Because most of the TV and movies now, it's like, boom, that's the goal. Let's get to that bedroom right now.
Yeah.
That's not love.
No. So, they explain this so well, and I wish I would have wrote it down. But it's just like, that's what happens with an emotional relationship outside of marriage with like somebody. Like, yeah, your wife that you married has your private part.
Yep.
But she doesn't have your heart.
Ooh.
that person over here that you have like an emotional connection with because they understand you, because you didn't spend enough emotional connection over here. Like, so your wife still has your private bits, but that other person has your heart. And so, like, their whole thing and then like what they were talking about, which is fantastic, is connecting to. It's like, hey, my wife or my husband has my heart and my intimate.
Yep.
And so, like, yeah, all of you, please, for the love of your marriage, go watch it.
Yep.
And sit down with your wife and be like, or husband, and be like, hey, can you watch this with me? Like, I think it's going to, yeah.
And I haven't gotten to that episode yet, but I definitely agree. Like, I'm lucky in the fact that Shawnee was my best friend.
Yeah.
For the longest time before she finally decided that, yes,
she pulled the
wanted
trigger.
to. Well, I tried, darn it. I think she knew I was trying.
Yeah.
For us to start dating, and then she had to get in a car wreck. She had to get in a car wreck, and I had to ask my then girlfriend, "Is it okay if I give this female, who is my best friend, a hug to help calm her nerves?" And it's like at that moment she said she realized, "Oh no, I could lose him.
Ooh.
I don't want to lose him."
Yikes.
So we had that best friend connection long before we ever fell in love.
So she had your heart.
Yeah. I tried dating girls to forget her. I could not forget her.
How'd that work? They just had your private bits. They didn't have your heart.
They didn't even have that. I didn't give that to them. Thankfully.
And I shouldn't
they
say
had
just your
my
private
lips,
bits. Sorry.
I guess, for a little bit.
Sorry. When I meant private bit, it meant, yes, that part, but then also, like, the private side of your life.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when you become in a relationship with somebody, that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, so she was my best friend first, and then this is a little contradictory to a lot of people, I guess, around our area of the country live. It's like most time people say you're not going to live together until you're married.
Yeah.
But I have the theory that you should live together before you're married for a minimum of a year. That way you figure out, can I live with this person? Is my emotional connection still there?
Ground. You're going to open up a temptation ground. But, I mean, in that same aspect of, like, I think you should be living life together enough to know, like, oh, can I be with this person? Like, spend a lot of quality time together. Not quantity, quality.
Yep.
Don't just spend time together. Be honest with each other. Be like, hey, do you fart in your sleep? What do you? How are you? Is your room a mess? Like, don't give them the polish bits when they come over. If the back of your toilet's clean, like, boys, we all know, we're men. If the back of your toilet clean when she came over, you were focused on what your relationship's gonna look like. Mm-hmm. You were hoping that you could put on an expose to be like, oh yeah, no, this is who I am. I'm clean. I'm friendly. I'm everything. No, like. You got to be able to discuss the ugly and the good with who your spouse is going to be. Because if you don't, and they find out, that's just setting up like you're setting them up, pretty much.
Yeah, there could be resentment there, but I don't think if you're just dating, you should move in.
Yeah,
there's got to be a commitment there. Like if you're engaged,
okay,
that's where I'm drawing the line. You got to be at least that much committed
engaged.
To where it's like, yeah, we are going to be married. But I hate divorce.
I do too.
And I'd rather you figure out that you guys cannot stand living with each other before you get married. Then instead of getting married, develop hate for each other, resentment for each other, and then get divorced. Because you could just realize that you can't stand living with each other and still be best friends. Yeah. So you can still have that relationship, but it's just not going to be what you thought it was.
No. But I mean, there's also still some growing up that you have to do in a relationship. Yeah. Like when you move in, like when you add another life, things get tough. You can't just think about yourself. No. I'm still working through that. And we're on year 3. Like, yeah, we haven't conquered the world yet at year 3, but like there's still stuff I'm learning year 3 that I'm like, man, if I would have known that year 1, like this would be awesome.
So we've been married coming up on about 10 and a half years now. You know, we're still learning.
You're like, man.
It doesn't stop.
Man,
it's like
she really did fart in her sleep. No, but like, that's what it is.
She does.
They do. Girls,
You fart.
Boys,
don't lie.
girls poop. Just know.
Yep,
Girls
they do.
poop, and it
happens.
stinks. Oh, it's so gross.
It's worse than dudes. I'm
It's-
sorry.
I'm not. You poopies. Quit it. Please don't take this out for TikTok or anything else.
Wives, we
said
love
that.
you. Don't hate
Yes.
us.
Don't hear that, please. Like, people don't hear that. My wife is everything I'm not.
She's
Like-
supposed to be.
Yeah, she's made from me. Like, I honestly, I really think that is... All right, if I don't stop, we're going to keep going. But that is a part of a relationship, too. You got to find your rib. You're gonna be walking through the world. You got to find your rib.
Yeah.
And guess what? He made billions of people.
And also, go back to topic 3. Sorry, I know we need to get going.
That's fine.
But men,
I
you
drive
need
fast.
to lead by example.
Yes.
We are called to lead by example for our wives.
Yep.
Yes, it says in the Bible that the
They
wives are to submit to their husbands, but
But you gotta die.
How can a wife submit to their husband if he has not submitted to God?
Yep. You have to show by example.
Yeah. You got to lead by example.
And husbands, if you finish that Bible verse, you have to die for them.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to die for them. So, yeah, it sounds cute and awesome that your wife's going to submit to you. They got the easy part of the deal. If you ask me, they got the easy part of the deal. I'm sorry. I love my wife, and I hope, like, I know we're going to be blessed one day. I'll probably have a daughter. But, like, boys, husbands, men, not boys. Because if you're ready to get married, you're not a boy anymore. You're a man.
You better be a man.
You better be a man. But, yeah, you got to die. That's the other half that people don't hear about the glamorous and glory. Yeah, they submit. You got to die.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we got. I'm ending it.
All right.
No,
so,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He's got to get going, so we're going to kind of let's wind it up here.
We're still at hour 30 almost. So
That's it.
yeah, that's it. That's
Hey,
it.
we've been hitting 2 hours. Actually, the last
have.
episode was over 2 hours.
We have.
So I think we hit a lot of stuff today. We'll probably end up recapping on it eventually, especially as I go through and do some editing.
Yes.
Because I have to listen to the whole thing a couple times, probably.
And listen, this is Talks and Crocs, but in all reality, it should just be Jake and Jake. Because this man, Jake, has put in so much work. So if you guys, all the fun things that you guys get to see, it's all Jake. The editing, like the most thing that I focus on is getting set up to record, using my laptop to record, and then after that, Jake has done most of the work. So I can't take too much glory.
This was kind of my idea.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not going to say it was my idea. I've had the thought of needing to do a podcast for a long time. Never knew it was going to be a part of until all of a sudden one day I felt like I needed to text you and be like, hey, man.
We need to do this.
Yeah.
And then I was
what
like,
do you think?
If you're honest, if I'm being honest, I was like, yeah, okay, that's fun. Let's try it. And then I was like, wait, I get life from this. All right, I'll fall in. And so now I'm like, all right, let's figure it out. What can we do? And I've had 4 people reach out to me already. And they're like, hey, I want to come on. Like my brother-in-law, we're gonna go see here in an hour and a half. Like he's like, yeah. When's my time to hop on?
Let's schedule it. Get him
I'm
here.
like,
Get on
I'm
the
in.
video. I don't care.
He's like, do I have to bring Crocs? I'm like, if you don't, I have some for you.
And I already told, I keep telling Holly she's going to be on here.
Oh, yeah, she will be.
Zach, I think Zach's came, but, he works nights. So
Yeah,
we're
he's
going to
gotta
have to work
sleep.
around that schedule.
He's got to sleep.
Nate's game.
Oh,
Big time.
Nate will be on.
And
Nate is one of my mentors and our associate pastor right now, and yeah, no, he'll be on.
yep, I can't wait to get Frank and Teresa on. But I want to get you guys on here, too. I want you to send us messages.
Yeah.
Instagram,
ask us
Facebook,
questions.
TikTok.
Ask
Yeah.
us questions you want us to bring up.
If you have questions, you want to hear it on the podcast, you want us to do a little research on it on the site, and we can talk about it on here, shoot us a message. I will do so. I am a research nut. If I get a topic in my head, I go all out on it.
He does. He has the ADHD.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
All of them.
But we love you guys.
Yes.
As Dalton says, tell somebody you love them.
Please. I don't know. I got that from Tim the Tap Man. I don't know where he
Tim
got
the
that from.
Tap Man.
So it's just a video. I'm a nerd. I play video games. But
why does that sound familiar to me?
he's that bald dude that has tattoos that plays video games. He's a streamer.
Okay, I've probably
But,
seen a video of his or something.
Yeah, I love watching their stuff. But yeah, every time he's like, "Hey, like, I love you guys. Tell somebody you love them."
I like it,
I like
though.
that. Like, tell somebody you love them.
Hey, Jesus said, "Here I give you a commandment: love others as I have loved you." So there are more than
Come on.
10 commandments. That's a topic I want to get into sometime as well.
How many are there? All reality, right now, off the top of your head, go. I'm kidding.
Well, I'll tell you what I read. I read there's at least 12.
Yeah,
But I know Jesus, he said, "Here I give you another commandment."
yeah.
And Jesus is God, so it is another commandment to love others as he has loved us.
Mm.
Love people, love your neighbor, love your enemy.
Look through
Love.
his lens, not your own.
Exactly.
Bye.
We love you guys.
See you
See you
guys.
later.